Felicia Michaels, my
From the moment you hear his
princess,
voice, you
has been
know
entertaining
there are
audiences
problems.
with a unique
Joey
style
Coco Diaz has
of
been rocking
provocative humor
comedy
since the
stages for
90s, all right?
15 years.
With her
You've
tongue
seen
in
him in
cheek,
films and
she's been
television,
exploring
but
such
his real
topics as the
patois,
dynamics
as
of
he's
the
fond of
male-female
saying, are the
relationships,
stories from
or
his
as we call them
past
here in
and
the
his
studio,
chaotic
dirty
views on
thoughts,
life that will make
and
this
the
podcast
proliferation
a different
of the
beast.
sensual
Raw
feminist.
pain and
She's a little
passions, how to
firecracker
really
rolled up, and that's why I
describe
love her,
this
and that's why
Cuban-born,
you're going to love
New
listening. So
Jersey
tune in, all right?
animal.
Greetings, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Beauty and
The Beast,
Felicia Michaels here.
Joey Coco Diaz.
How are you, my love?
I'm good, Sassy Pants. How are you?
It's a beautiful day to be alive here in Southern California. It's warm out, waiting for an earthquake, you know what I'm saying?
I was just thinking yesterday as I was getting on the 405 from the 10, this is motherfucking earthquake weather.
You know, the 405 is people don't understand the 405. And you talk to people in other states, and I figured out what the 405 is. I think people from Japan, as they're learning English and stuff, they tell them about the 405, how one day they're going to go to America and be able to cut people off on the 405. Because the other day, everybody was complaining to me about the 5, and I had to drive to San Diego, and I had 3 altercations on the 5, and it was driving behind, like, and I hate saying this because it's a hacky thing to say, but it's so true. You're sitting there and you smoke a half a number and you listen to music and you're like, I don't mind doing 60 for a couple minutes. Then you're like, I'm in the left-hand lane. Why am I doing 52? And you pull around, it's some Chinese, it's an extra from Black Rain, you know, smoking a cigarette, cutting you off. And that's it. That's all I want to say.
Well, I know when we drive together, you're always like, get out of this fucking lane. Get out of this lane. So it must drive you crazy.
Oh, it drives me crazy sometimes. I just, and I got, knock on wood, I'm not a heavy speeder or nothing, like I always, especially like in kid areas, but there's just sometimes in the 405 or 5 or whatever, speed it up, bitch.
Right.
Get on, there's 200 of us. They can't stop all of us doing 90.
And people do the weirdest things on the 405. I swear to
405.
God, I saw a guy on the 405 who was lifting a weight as he was driving with his right hand. Well, what's the purpose of that? You can't lift a weight with your left hand. You're going to walk around with one right hand arm, looks like Popeye. That don't look good on a man. You know what I mean?
At least he wasn't texting as he's doing 90. Or
Right.
That's the thing too, that people, but I don't text. But sometimes when people call you look at the phone and you look up and there you are. So
You don't text at all?
I try to avoid it as much
Do
as
you
I
do
can.
any sexting?
What's sexting?
Sexting is when you sex over your texting.
Like you put, I want to eat your ass on the text?
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you're a man and you're sexting, I was thinking about this the other day. If you're a man and you're sexting with a woman, right? And if she is using punctuation, she ain't really fucking sexting. You know what I mean? Because it takes 2 fingers, 2 hands to use punctuation. if she's like, I want to suck your cock, exclamation point, that bitch ain't really touching anything.
No, she's not. I never got much into the sex on the phone and stuff like that.
Oh, really? I like it.
It's weird. It's weird when somebody calls you and said, what are you wearing? Or,
Really?
yeah, it's kind of fucking weird. You're there all alone. Then once you come, there's nothing to talk about after that anymore.
Dude, once you come in any situation, there's nothing to talk about.
I gotta fucking go now. I just want to say something. I want to thank all the people who listen to the pilot podcast. Thank you very much for listening.
Yes, absolutely.
From the bottom of our hearts. I mean, it was great. It was a great feeling to know that you guys are out there listening to our opinions.
We appreciate it, yeah.
And our views, and that's all these are, just views. We're not trying to be cute or out of our way. There's just 2 people just bullshitting, drinking some coffee.
And by the way, we are the 2 people that are so fun at bullshitting.
Yes, we are. We just like to
I'd
chill
rather
around and
bullshit with you than any other person on the planet.
Oh, it's just so laid back, the bullshit sometimes. Sometimes you get me going and you know how to shut me down like my wife. You're like, Joey, relax. Okay. Fuck it.
No, I don't know how to shut you down at all. I know how to walk the fuck away from you though.
I get online, I get crazy.
When you're being all Joey, I'm all like, oh shit, take your drink and trot your ass away, Felicia. But I wanted to talk about, last week we kind of talked a lot about me, and I was thinking, Joey, what's up with you? We had made some references about doing a little time.
Yeah, well, that was what got me going into this whole business. It was doing time. It's so weird. Somebody asked me a couple weeks ago how I got into stand-up, and it was when I did time. And I got arrested in Colorado, of all places, Boulder.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people I became a man in Colorado, because I was raised in Jersey, but I thought I was hot shit when I came out. If I didn't get arrested in Jersey, I won't get arrested anywhere else. I came to Colorado with my bullshit. and they shut me the fuck down. And it was.
Do you mind me asking what you were arrested for?
Well, the charges were kidnapping 1, kidnapping 2, aggravated robbery.
All right. The next time you ask someone to do a motherfucking podcast,
Yeah,
you might want to bring that up.
well, we'll talk about it now. It was kidnapping 1, 2, aggravated robbery, accessory to a felony, and second-degree burglary, all rolled up in one. I got convicted of second-degree burglary and accessory to a felony. And the way I looked at it was for all the other burglaries I had done in my life. I had to pay my price.
Right.
So when I got out of prison, it was like going to Vegas. All your sins are absolved in a way, you know? But I had been like a low-rent type of guy, trucks, robbing trucks all my life, shit like that, selling sweat, whatever, in New Jersey. I went to Colorado, and the first time I went to Colorado, I got into burglarizing homes, drug dealer homes. You know, I would get to know them, and then you just rob their house or whatever.
And why them?
Because they're drug dealers, not going to call the cops.
Okay.
A drug dealer's not going to call the cops, you know. And even if you clean out the television or whatever, they're not going to call the cops because the cops are going to know. Oh, they broke in here and took this. So a drug dealer's house gets robbed. They don't say anything. I was young. I was 21, 20, you know. And I went back to college. I went back to Jersey. It was so weird. When I left Aspen at the time, burglaries had gone down. I mean, I was going crazy. I'm not even joking. It's not even joking. I shoveled snow in the daytime to case the joints. To know what their movements were. I shoveled snow for $12 an hour in Snowmass, and I would burglarize. And then I'd send the jewelry home, and they would send me cash on Western Union. You know, I had friends on the East Coast that would fence it for me. And I did all that shit. Then I went back to the East Coast. I stayed for 18 months. And by that time, the cocaine epidemic had taken over. It was 84, 85. I went back to Boulder, and I was clean and sober at the time. I was just smoking dope. I wasn't doing coke. I had put together in 6 years of doing coke that it was bad luck and all this shit. And after about a year of being clean, I had a nice girlfriend, I started dabbling again. Coke was $18,000 an ounce in Colorado. I was getting it for $800 in New Jersey. So I would fly back to Jersey and fly it back. So I got into that shit.
Wow.
And then I built up this cash, and I fucking snorted it all, and I had to leave Aspen, owing like 40 grand, and I moved to Boulder. And I get to Boulder, and I'm detailing cars, and I'm pretty good, and I start selling cars, and I always took night classes. Believe it or not, in all my crimes, I always went to Colorado Mountain College. Yeah.
You were up.
I love going to school. I love learning. So I went to Boulder, and I got myself into a way of life that was phenomenal. It's like so weird. Like when people say old habits die hard, I was making like $4 to $5 grand a month. I was going to classes. I was doing a little coke. I was working out. And all of a sudden, one day, I just got into this coke thing again, and I started working with this guy in Boulder. His name was Kent Vella. And he said he was going to rob his roommate. His roommate had a couple kilos of coke. Well, I decided I was going to rob Kent Vella. So I got this biker to help me, and it was really weird. Our plan was the biker was going to be the front man. He was the one that was going to buy the drugs, and he was going to rip out a gun and rob us both. That was the plan. So it was that expression, what a tangled web we weave. And it was really weird. The day came, November 18th, and I picked Vella up, took him to Tidwell's house. Tidwell rips out a machine gun, tries to rob the guy. But when I picked up Vella, I had noticed that he had hid the kilo of coke in the ceiling, in those standing ceilings, and then he had like an ounce in the drawer, and he had like cash in the drawer. So we show up at this guy. Tidwell pulls the gun out on me and Vella. We tie Vella up. We put Vella in the room, you know, and then he goes over to Vella's to rob him. He comes back and says he can't find nothing. He comes back and says, I found an 8-ball and $200. Well, I knew there was cash in the drawer, and there was like an ounce of coke in the drawer. So I said, you're trying to rob me. I didn't let him know this. I said, something wasn't right here. So I got in my car, and it was the weirdest thing. I walked in this house like Terminator. I walked into a building with a guard, just told the guard a story, went up to the second floor, kicked the door down, went in, pulled the ceiling down, because I was already involved in this crime. Yeah. I took the kilo, and I put a newspaper thing, one of those vending things on the bottom where you go put a quarter in newspaper.
Right.
Old school drug dealers would always put their drugs under the vending and make drops. I would call you and say, Felicia, go to the corner of Laurel and whatever. There's a newspaper thing. Put a quarter in. Your kilo is under there. And then you give me the cash later, so we wouldn't make the cash transaction. So I hid it there. I went home, and I went back to Vella's. And I told Vella he was a cocksucker for trying to rob me. And it was really weird because I had a handgun in the car. I had like a 9mm handgun in the car. And I went to the car, and I said, you know what? I could shoot these guys, and nobody will ever know. This is when you become a man. Like, this is the story that you don't know about prison. And I walked to the car, and I had a full clip in there. And I go, you know, I could walk into it and shoot both of these guys, and nobody will ever know.
Right.
And I made up my mind I was going to shoot both of these guys.
Were you afraid at any point, or were you like so much doing drugs at that point where you couldn't even feel your emotions? Like what What really goes through your head at that moment?
It was something that I sit back now and I consider it a bad fucking day. It's what happens when you get involved in something. And that's why I tell people a lot in life that before they get involved, because something will run away from you.
Oh, absolutely.
That was something that I had under control that ran away. Now it was supposed to be easy. We're robbing Vella. That's it. The kid I was doing the crime with, the biker, he had the pit bull, the tattoo, the leather jacket, anything to get attention he had. He was one of those guys that went to strip clubs to do business. No, I don't want to lap dance. I'm not here for the girls. But with that show, there's guys that have that show.
Yeah.
And the story was he was dating a girl that did nude lap dancing. She was beautiful, but she was in trouble with her husband. And she had money to play college. So he put her in one of his bedrooms. They didn't fuck. They were living together. And she would tell him they wouldn't fuck because she was Catholic.
What?
So he bought it. So she needed $10,000 to get a divorce. And that was his main motivation for this.
Oh, if you're Catholic, you can't fuck, but
Listen,
you can nude dance?
Are you fucking crazy? Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know about that.
This kid bought into it. This kid was in love with her.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'll fuck you when I get the $10,000 and get the divorce. So his motivation was to get the $10,000. My motivation was to party. I was sick and tired of living in Boulder. I was ready to go back to my buddies were going to clubs and they were snorting every night and fucking and sucking. And here I am in Colorado living like a snowman, selling cars. So that was my motivation. And all of a sudden, it was just one day that turned bad. I mean, I remember being in my house. The kilo was on his way to Aspen. I had my buddy drive the kilo to Aspen. So it was out. Because our plan was to take Vella and put him on a bus to Arizona. That was our genius plan. This is all the drugs. This was the effects of the drugs. We actually thought that we were going to rob somebody, give him $200 and say, you're on a bus to Arizona, bitch. Don't ever come back. So on the way to drive the guy to the bus, this Tidwell guy had Vella in the trunk. He gets pulled over in Thornton with no headlights on.
That's what. See, this
was God.
Yeah,
this is all God.
Yeah. And if you're going to kidnap, make sure your car is good.
But
right?
no, make sure you have your fucking headlights on.
He didn't even
he
have.
Didn't have the headlights on. He
really?
got pulled over, and the guy's like license and registration. The guy in the trunk's like,
Oh.
So now they took the guy out of the fucking trunk. They're for kidnap, because kidnap isn't really me taking Felicia and calling your relative and saying I got Felicia $400. No, kidnapping is when I take you from one room to another room to do a crime. So if me and you get into an argument and I throw you into this room, that's kidnapping. If you tell the cop he threw me into a different room, that he took me from that room into the kitchen, that's kidnapping. When you're taking somebody against their will into a different room.
So let me ask you, when you realize
that all this shit had gone
that
down,
the dude was in the trunk, like, what were your thoughts? What did you think?
One thing, I'm a street guy. These two guys had never seen in life what I had seen. This is just a tangled web. This is like one of the worst tangled webs you ever seen in crime altogether. When he came over, he tried to threaten me. He goes, well, I'll go to the cops. Go to the cops, bitch. Get the fuck out of my house. I kept like an 8-ball from the kilo. I did it, went to a bar, came home, passed out, and I woke up to some guy knocking on my door. And it was the lot man from the car lot where I worked. And he goes, bro, the place is surrounded with cops. Don't go when they're on their way here. I packed my stuff, and I went to King Soopers, and I called my girlfriend at the time, and I forgot my weed. This is how bad the cops were in Boulder. That I went back to my house with the cop car in front of my house. I walked around the back and got my weed and my pipe and my lighter.
Oh, no.
I hid for 2 days because they wanted me for kidnapping.
Right.
Like it was in the paper. They were looking for an accomplice.
Oh, it was in the paper?
Oh, fuck yeah. I made the front page of the
God.
paper
Was
in
your
Boulder.
picture?
No.
Oh,
They didn't release any names. I went up to my in-laws and stayed for 2 days. And I actually thought in my head I was going to beat it. Like I was going to go tell the cops that I was a vigilante drug guy. And I remember that was the night that Don Johnson was marrying the girl on Miami Vice. And I'll never forget my wife dropping me off going, listen, she's dropped me off at 11. I'll be home for the wedding. Like, we'll watch Miami Vice tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember going into Boulder County Jail, knocking on the fucking thing, Oh, it was great. I had a great 2 days because I went into Boulder and I would call the cops from Albertsons and say, this is Joey Diaz. I heard you're looking for me. And they would go, hold on. They put me on hold to try to trace the call. Fuck you. I know. And I'd hang up and dog, don't fucking trace me again, cocksuckers. What do you want me for? We just want to talk to you. Come in. And I'll never forget hanging up one time and them going, all right, where are you? We'll come to you. And I was at a Kmart on 30th and Iris. And I remember looking across the street at Albertsons. I go, I'm at Albertsons. And I hung up the phone. I really went into town that day to call the cops and to get weed, to go back up to my girlfriend's parents' house. They were out of town. I remember rolling the joint and watching 20 cop cars surround Albertsons and seeing cops run into Albertsons with walkie-talkies on And I remember what I rented that night. I rented Tequila Sunrise.
Oh,
and
no.
I rented Above the Law. It was my buddy talked me into watching Above the Law. I went home. I watched both those movies, and I turned myself in the next day. And it's funny because when I turned myself in, I went, I'm Joe Diaz. And they go, hold on, we'll come out to get you. And they came out to the window. When they brought me in, there was 10 cops with fucking weapons pulled on me. And they're like, get on the fucking floor. And I'm like, all this? Are you fucking serious? I didn't do anything. And they sat me down. They said, you're getting charged with kidnapping one, kidnapping something. Like, kidnapping? They're like, your bail is $50,000 cash. And I'm like, so I turned myself in. I had to sit in Boulder County for a fucking month. I got out before Christmas, and it was when you get arrested for something like that. Like, I had been arrested for petty shit where you go through the system and you have an attorney that knows people.
Right.
This was fucking deep. This was like, I sat in there, and then they lowered my bail to $3,000 cash because I had my girlfriend's family at the time lived in Boulder, and we got a bond. They put their house up for me and shit, so we got the house and $3,000.
They did?
Yeah,
They must have really.
They really dug me, and I dug them. They thought it was a bad day. He came to see me in the prison. He goes, listen, I always knew you were a little kinky. My fucking machine guns. Beauty and the Beast podcast at gmail.com. If you want to send anything you want to send, anything you want, topics, maybe you don't like us, you like us, send it anyway. We want to know what you think, all right?
Now, let me ask you this, though. When you had that month period where you were sitting in the jail, did you think a lot, like, what did you think about? Did you think about what your mother would have thought? Or did you think about, like, were you like, this is, it's over, like, I'm fucked?
Well,
like,
at the time, when you're in that deep.
And were you having withdrawals? I mean, if you were doing coke that much, like, it must have, like,
No, it wasn't that. It was weird because once I went in there, I knew where I stood. You go into, but first of all, let's get to this. Boulder County Jail is the second best jail in the country. Colorado's jail system is like the best. They bring you croissants. At the time, you could wear your own clothes. They had a payphone in the hallway. Depending on what level you got to, you would stay up to watch TV. They had cable TV in the Boulder County jail.
Back then?
They gave you cigarettes. Oh, yeah. Boulder County, you're like, I'm here for a month. No biggie. They had Kool-Aid. You could buy shit.
Wow.
I had let people down, and I knew that, but I didn't really know till I completed the whole jail term because I got out, and then I had to really prove to the court that I was worthy, and I couldn't stop snorting. I couldn't stop smoking. So I kept giving them hot UAs.
What's that?
When they make you piss in a bottle. But I got released from Boulder County Jail, and I got arrested 2 weeks later for shoplifting CDs. It was I was just in a funk.
Why did you do that?
Because at the time, CDs, they would pay you $10 per CD up at the Hill. And me and my buddies were just taking 100 CDs a day and bringing them to the Hill from Sears. Sears had no security. But we had robbed so many CDs from Sears that they put security in there. So the day I go to take 100 CDs, I get caught. And this is how fucked up I was. I gave him a fake name. And I went back to that Boulder County jail. My second real name, my alias for that one was Jimmy. But I used my real name for the kidnapping. And I'll never forget that.
As one should.
Yeah, I'll never forget that I went through that whole jail system that night. They let me out the next day. And let me tell you something. I gave them an alias, got out of jail the next day, and did my community service and paid my fines under the alias.
Wow.
But in those days, if you had a misdemeanor, they would fingerprint you and send the fingerprint cards to Washington. It took a month. Now, you can't lie. As soon as you put your fingerprints in, everything comes up about you. This is all 20 years ago when I got arrested, so things were different. I stayed out till about August of '88, and then the Friday before I was supposed to get sentenced, I plea bargained to, the first deal was 9 years, violent crime. I fired that attorney.
Wow.
And then I got a different attorney, like an Okie-doke. I got advice from the University of Colorado. The Spanish guy told me what to do in Boulder, and I paid $18,000. But it was all a lesson because what I got out of the kilo, I got $18,000. All the money I made was like $19,000. It cost me a year of my life, and I ended up making $600.
So did you do any prison time?
Yeah, I got sentenced to. I got a deal up to 6 years, and they gave me 4. And I got sentenced August 15th of '88, and I stayed in there till February. And then it was my first real felony offense, so they reconsidered it. And they reconsidered me to community corrections, which meant the halfway program. And I went in there, and I caused havoc because I had to get married. I got my girlfriend pregnant, so I went in there and started selling blow. And so it never really ended, but what I got from the prison term was I could do time standing on my head. Yeah. And I don't have any family, but the people I have in my life are sort of like family, and they would come to visit me, and I would see the pain in their fucking heart. I would even tell people, don't come back no more. You know, it's too painful for you. And it really taught me that chapter of my life. It taught me the people I had around me that really believed in me, that I had let them down. Me, I'm a piece of shit. I let myself down every day. It was the people around me that really kind of believed in me, that I really felt bad for. And now what that taught me in life was that anything I do has repercussions to the people around me. Yeah, we laugh and we think it's cute. But when I'm calling you from the county jail and you got to tell your kid why, you got to go take Joey $20. You know, so that was part of my, but when I got locked up through all that bad shit, Felicia, I learned things about myself. And one of the things I learned was that I was funny. They would make me go up before a movie night, and because it was a projector, and they couldn't fix it, so they would make me go up and do comedy. They would say, Cuban, get up there, and I would go up there and talk. And then one day, after like a month, some kid came up to me and gave me a notebook. And he goes, bro, I got you a present so you could write jokes. And I go, I don't write jokes. I just go up there and talk. And the kid's like, bro, you really got to get into this. He goes, I'm no entertainment attorney. The kid was in there for like triple murder. And he's like, bro, but you got to get into comedy. This is your calling.
Do you remember that kid's name?
Nah, he was a book nerd from Buffalo. We did a lot of acid in there together. We would do acid because they couldn't test you for that.
Right.
And he was very knowledgeable. He was in charge of the library. He knew about all the books. He knew about everything. And he was in there for triple murder.
Wow.
He killed the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the guy she was fucking, and the neighbor. This kid was crazy. And if you seen the kid, you didn't think he could do it. But he was a short kid, nebbish type of guy. He rolled his own cigarettes. He was kind of a hippie. But it was weird, the advice he gave me. And I can't remember what his name was. I wrote a blog a while ago on MySpace about that. Everybody's contacted me over the years from different things. They said, hey, I worked with you at a car wash, or I did this. But nobody really ever contacted me from that prison. In a way, I'm happy, but in a way, I'm sad. Because none of those guys are out, or they don't have Facebook, or maybe they just forgot about me. I didn't forget about them. You know, I didn't forget about 3 or 4 guys that really taught me shit, you know, just about life, you know, so. In Beauty and the Beast, we talk about everything. We talk about controversies. No politics and no religion, because that gets people up in arms most of the fucking time. So why talk about that stuff? We talk about our own dilemmas, and we talk about our growths and our failures or whatever. And hopefully the people out there that are failures just like us catch the fuck on. You know what I'm saying?
And so the first time you did stand up, were you like, did you kill? The first time on a real stage.
I did okay. That Lions, what's Ed something from the Denver Comedy Works came up to me and he said I had a lot of presence and stuff, and he goes, keep doing it. And it was just weird because it all started in that fucking prison at Camp George West. You know, it all started. And there's so many other things. Like I kept asking the counselor what it said on my thing, like what it said on my evaluation, and he goes, that's confidential. And one day I just became so close to him, and he looked me in the eyes and he goes, I'll tell you what it said on there. It said that if I had something that you wanted, I should give it to you because you're going to get it anyway. And I felt really insulted. I went back to my cell and I kind of cried. I said, it said that I was a thief. And then I thought about what he was saying. And he told me the same thing that happened to you last week. He said that, think about what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that anything you want in your life, you could get if you put your mind to it. That's how dangerous of a person you are.
Wow.
You're dangerous. You're dangerous. If you put your mind to something, and I like at first I was very hurt. I'm like, I'm never gonna do nothing with my life. I'm gonna be a piece of shit. But after I heard that, and he put it into a different way for me, like days later, he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, I can't believe it said that in there. I feel like a piece of shit. My uncle was right. He said my genes were always bad. And he goes, no, bro. What I'm telling you is that you have the capability to do whatever the fuck you want. And I'm one of those people that I do something, and after a little while, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm very gettable.
Yeah.
So I think that people make too many big deals out of things.
Right.
Acting is one of them. Oh, it's so tough, Stanislavski.
Right.
Really? Queen Latifah came from a fucking ghetto.
You know what? That's why, like, I am definitely a person that is optimistic. Like, like it's almost a curse. You know what I mean? But you have to be. And you know what? And I'm sorry to get all fluffy and change the conversation this way, but I had one Star Search, and it was so ridiculous and so like silly, and it's all about it just has nothing to do with talent, has nothing to do with comedy. But the point is, once something like that happens to you, you realize anything is fucking possible. I tell my kids that all the time. I don't care how you grow up, what you do. I just want you to know anything is fucking possible. You know?
You know, it's funny being on a set next to Adam Sandler and doing a prison movie. That was when I really went 360. That really fucked with me for a while. During that set, I snorted a lot of coke because it really tapped in. that I had gotten somewhere. That's scary what you think about.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't the ideal situation. I mean, I watched The Longest Yard as a kid, and I thought it was great. It was an honor to be in the remake. It was an Academy Award winner, but for me, it was something different. It meant that. It meant that if he was right. The guy's name was Mr. Blue. He was a bug fucker from Mississippi, and that's how he talked. But he was right. That redneck put it down for me, and that opened up eyes for me that stayed with me the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like last year I did a movie with Dean Cain, a Christmas movie for Disney, and they put pictures up on the Disney webpage. That's me and Dean Cain casing the joint. And in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, how quick would Disney take that picture down if they realized how many houses I really did rob in real life? You know what I'm saying? Like,
the director's like, wow, Joey's really into this.
Yeah, really into this. He knows about locks. It's so weird, like when I receive something, like when I get something and people are like, oh, you were great in that, or, you know, you're like, if these motherfuckers only knew I was stealing change out of an ashtray at a car dealership in '94 to do sets. In '94, I lived in New York, and I would have enough money to go to New York and sell cars. And at night, I'd have no money. So I would dabble around the service station and steal quarters and tokens to go back into this, just to go do it, just to have tip money to go do a spot, to give that person $1 when I got a soda.
Yeah.
Nobody would ever understand that pain, that dollar just to have, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And you would look at it as a thief, but it's weird. It just helped my career, and it's just really weird that I can't even believe where I'm at. Listen, if you want ideas to talk about, you gotta fucking email us at beautyandthebestpodcast@gmail.com. How's that?
Excellent.
That's a
beautiful.
real professional. I was still interested in your little mugging about last night. We discussed it outside. I didn't really want to know about it, but I just want to know what a girl. I want you to tell the viewers what's a young girl, a single girl's mentality when she gets in a car at night. Do you know you're gonna sling some dick that night? You knew when you left the house last night it was on.
As you say, as you call it, if I'm cleaning up my monkey,
right,
I know it gonna go down.
So wait a second.
Just don't say anything stupid.
As you clean the monkey, you already know in your mind.
Shaving it up, trimming it up.
You already know that this motherfucker's in for the night of his life. It's
Unless
over.
this guy says something completely ridiculous, it's about to go down.
And when you go over there, you just drop it on him. You just drop down in your fucking thong and say, "Here it is, Superman."
No.
You made him attack you.
I still have to make a guy sweat a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, absolutely. But you know what? We were discussing, because he's a few years older than me, not by many, but a few, and we were talking about how older women like younger men, and we had talked about this too, and I was saying, like, I just don't get it, you know, like, because a young man just, you know, can't really bring it with
deliver the goods like you like
quite the
it.
finesse, you
Absolutely,
know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
you know, it takes a good 20 years really to boss a chick around in the bedroom. You know what I mean?
Boss her around without her feeling bossed around.
That's right.
You know what I'm
saying?
Pull her hair without her knowing her hair is being pulled.
Oh no, you want her to know her hair is being pulled, but by the way, don't snatch her bald headed. You know what I mean? When a chick says pull my hair, it doesn't mean like I'm a mule out in the fields and you got to get this corn planted, okay? Just pull it a little. You know
My jaw has just dropped, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what I mean? Don't snatch me bald-headed. If a girl says, bite my nipple, gently bite the nipple. Don't chew on it like it's a corn dog at the county fair, okay? You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to say. But
I used to have a crazy girlfriend in the late 90s, and she used to want a beating.
Oh.
Like after we broke up, I put on like 60 pounds because it was a workout 3-4 nights a week.
Right.
She wanted me to chase her, pull her hair, punch her in the stomach. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and I can't do that. I couldn't. It was like, really? You kind of smack them, but you hold back. But one New Year's Eve, I had a couple shots on me, and she didn't fucking do something right. She's like, smack me. I fucking gave her a black eye. She couldn't even go out New Year's Day.
Oh,
but it was a sexy blackout. No, she loved it.
Oh, she did?
She was in the fucking mirror masturbating all fucking day with the black eye. Some women like that crazy shit. Yeah. Here I felt ashamed. I went and got her roses and shit. And it wasn't really that I hit her hard. I think she went down or something.
Right.
As I was going, and my finger caught her eye. So it really wasn't a black eye. It was like when your eye gets that vein in it. She fucking loved it.
Yeah.
She loved it. She loved all that crazy shit.
Well, I am an adventurous soul, and I dated a gentleman who was really into that, and I kind of, liked it a little bit. But here's the problem with if you're with someone who is to S&M and all that, that in order for them to keep getting excited, it has to escalate.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because look, like, slap me around a little bit, but then, every, 1 out of 3 or 4 times. But I don't want it every time. Like, sometimes I want you to look me in the eye and say how you like that I put thought into matching my belt with my shoes. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
You can't just do it all the time. Otherwise,
That's a weird thing, too.
Yes.
That's a whole... When I was 18, 19, I used to go to these clubs in the city and then just stray around at night. And one night I went to this place that was called the Ramrod. It was on 12th Avenue by the water downtown, like by 22nd Street. This is going back. The fucking Ramrod. That's the first time.
Ramrod.
That's the first time I ever seen a guy beside Grandpa from the Munsters with a cape on. And I was jealous. Like, this motherfucker had a cape on.
Really?
Like, to wear a cape, you got to sling dick every day.
Yeah.
Like Walt Frazier. Walt Chamberlain wore a cape. You get to a point where you become a count, it's because you lost count, bitch.
Right.
That's when you just sling dick just for habit. This guy had a cape on. He was very handsome. And I'm like, someday I'm going to wear a fucking cape out at night. But I went into this bar.
I want to see you in a cape.
A fucking cape. And he wasn't a superhero. He didn't fly. That means he slung dick of dramatic proportions when you could wear a cape and go, bitches, here it is. Beauty and the Beast podcast at gmail.com. Felicia, give him a kiss.
Mwah.
That's my